first and foremost, wanted to give profound thanks to our hosts, our people who provided this beautiful space, Casa de las Americas. Please join me in giving a round to Jaime, Franklin, Nancy, and a wonderful family of friends. This is just such a beautiful and perfect space for this.
He says, nuestra casa es su casa. Bienvenidos, welcome.
Gracias so much.
Todo por Cuba.
Okay. We enjoyed a great, wonderful relationship with our friends at Casa, and it just is such an appropriate place for us to be as we get ready to send off this year's Caravanistas. And I am so honored to be traveling with 17 other people from the New York City area. Some are veterans, have been before, others are new, and I'm learning and just enjoying hearing about the experiences that people are having as they prepare to make this, to take this adventure. Many of you know that the caravans typically are routes that travel through the United States on vehicles, buses. We stop in different communities, holding educational events, collecting material aid, and
On my chest. Right.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh.
Wait.
Cuba,
On my chest. Right.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh.
Wait.
Joining forces at the border of Texas and Mexico. We then travel to Mexico to Tampico. The aid is placed onto a ship. It's set sail for Cuba. The Caravanistas fly. We go to Cuba. We have a wonderful 7 to 10 day program. This year we're doing things a little bit differently. First of all, we were invited last year at the end of the caravan by our Cuban hosts to travel to Santiago this year. And the significance of Santiago, particularly this year, is that we will be joining in this wonderful celebration of the 60th anniversary of the attack on the Moncada barracks. And that is widely seen as really the launching point of the Cuban Revolution. And it's a very significant and important historical milestone in Cuban history. And we're going to be a part of that celebration. And that's an honor, and we're excited to be able to be there at that time. But as you all know, subsequently, Santiago, in particular, eastern Cuba, was really devastated by Hurricane Sandy. More than 130,000 homes were damaged, many were destroyed, institutions, buildings crumbled. There's a lot of damage that took place, and so we want to bring with us aid that can be left to help with some of the reconstruction work. We hope to also take advantage of this year's trip to assess the damage, get a sense of just what the exact needs are at this point in time, with the idea of trying to send a more targeted, specific container of aid down in November. So that's kind of, the overall plan. It's going to be, I think, a very exciting trip. Looking forward to the opportunity to learn from our Cuban friends about things that some of us know about the advances that Cuba has made in the area of health and education and the environment and gender rights and hurricane preparedness and so on. And the plan is to go to Cuba, have that experience, dialogue with our friends and partners there, and then to return providing our communities, our neighbors, our family and friends with information about the real Cuba, because one of the most important aspects of the caravans is education. It's learning, it's sharing, and it's being able to bring that information back home, because at the center of this work is fighting the information blockade, because that's so prevalent, as we all know. So I appreciate you all being here. This is an honor to have you here with us. I want to ask each and every one of the caravanistas, this year's caravanistas that are here, to please, well, some of you are already standing, but let's just go around and start with Natalie, and maybe you could just state your name and quickly state your name and why you come.
My name is Natalie Tejada. I'm going this year once again with Pastor for Peace, thanks to Esperanza Martel who invited me. And I'm super excited to experience the whole Afro-Cuban culture and just go there with Pastor for Peace. It will be an amazing experience, and to see the whole political scene in Santiago is going to really teach me a lot. So I'm looking forward to it.
And we're going around, and we got Esty.
And I am looking forward to doing the assessment, because we're going there to do an assessment to see what the community needs in Santiago. So we're all going to be talking to people, and I'm excited about talking to people. I'm very also looking forward to going to Sierra Maestra. About time, yes. Anyway, I don't know. Ask Gail. She told me we're going to Sierra Maestra. I said, yeah, okay. She's still not, now she's told me we ain't going. And we're going to be, because we're celebrating 60 years of La Bucada, the attack of La Bucada. So we're going to be there in Carnival.
Qué bonita.
So I'm going to be doing a lot of dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Franklin is not going to be there to dance with me.
Gail, how
But
many
it's gonna be great.
caravanistas are going from other parts of the country?
All right.
I'll tell you that. But 72, I was asked how many caravanistas. 71 in total. That includes some from Mexico and also from Canada. But from the U.S., about 65 or something. 62. Danny.
Okay. Hey, family. My name is Danny. Some people know me as Majesty. I'm a hip-hop artist and community organizer up in the South Bronx. I'm first generation Cuban here. So for me, the caravan really means a lot, man, and I'm so grateful to Pastors for Peace for this opportunity. I don't know much about my Cuban culture. Like I said, I'm first generation here. Both of my parents are from Cuba. I couldn't tell you much other than a couple of names. And the opportunity to basically be able to go home. I have family there that I've never met. I just learned that I have family there that I've never met. See the places where my father was born, be able to see the city where my mother was born, and at the same time be able to contribute in a positive level. It's not just a sightseeing vacation. Like we're going out there to do a lot of positive work. And I'm excited for the experience. I don't know what to expect, but I'm 100% sure that it'll be life transforming. So I'm grateful to y'all for the opportunity. All right.
And we've got Yvonne.
Yvonne Allen.
Yeah.
This will be my second caravanista. I went in 2011.
Can everybody hear Yvonne?
This will be my second caravanista, my second trip to Cuba. The first one was a wonderful experience. I learned so much while I was there from the people, from the organizers of the trip. It was an experience that changed my life. And I'm happy for this second experience to go again and give my two helping hands and do as much as I possibly can for the people of Cuba.
All right.
Okay, so and I met Anne.
Minaj on the spot.
You thought she was going to sit down.
Minaj thought she was going to sit down. We're just stating our name. Why we're going. Minaj is a member of the IFCO Board of Directors as well as the Director of Haitian Women for Haitian Refugees. I'm very excited she's going to be traveling with us here.
Hi. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming. I'm excited about going on this caravan, and this is my 8th trip to Cuba, and fourth time I go with caravan, and really going because we need to end this embargo, basically. That's the long and the short of it. So I'm happy to see a lot of folks that I've seen on past caravans, and some folks that are going this year. And if there's anyone here who hasn't gone, I hope to see you next year.
And we're going Eugene.
I'm Eugene. I'm excited to. This is the 4th caravan. I think the 6th time I've gone to Cuba. We went to Santiago many years ago with Global Exchange and haven't been back to Santiago. And I'm quite interested to see how not only how they were hit by the hurricane, but what they've done to come back, and also what we can do to help.
And Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber. This is my 2nd time on the caravan, and I'm going first and foremost in solidarity and in the blockade. But I am especially interested in just environmental impact and the response to that, and environmental sustainability, and kind of continuing to see that work and see that dialogue happening.
And Nora, just in time to.
It's also a main dinner tonight.
Yes, that's one of the reasons I'm going to Cuba, to see if they cook as well as I do.
No challenge.
I want to support the folks over there. It's very difficult to live in Cuba for certain reasons, and they work very hard to maintain their model. And I really support the model that I think can be used for a lot of developing countries. The way that they take care of children from the time they're born in daycare centers, where they have psychologists, dentists assessing them, taking care of them, and health care from that time until people are ready to pass on. And of course, I support the educational system. So that's one of the reasons that I'm going to go over there, is to show the solidarity with the Cubanos.
And I see another caravanista just coming through the door, Nadine. I'm going to put Nadine on the spot.
You thought you was going to hide it.
Nadine. This is Nadine here. Step right up. Come on over.
We're going to give
her a pass this time. This time only. But Nadine is joining us from Brooklyn. And we're introduced to Nadine through Daoud Andre, a member of for Queens. I'm so sorry. See, Nadine, if you okay, all right. Okay, so moving on, we've got Ruby's not back here right now. Michael. Organize the Bronx.
I've been a couple times, but not nearly enough. So I'm going back to learn and show an act of solidarity. There's a lot we need to bring back to our communities, to learn from their experience of fighting a revolution for how long? How many decades? 6 decades or more? There's so much work to be done in our own communities, and that's why I think it's so important to go there and act like we're students, to learn and bring back to our communities, to create our own communities in defense of the revolution. In the South Bronx, we have things going on that's travesties, and they keep getting passed, we keep getting dumped on, we keep getting the worst environmental type of projects, and that's happening all over the United States. So we need to bring that stuff back in terms of the knowledge, in terms of like the lessons of struggle, continuous struggle, and not to give up because we reach like some bumps in the road, but to keep fighting along. You know, so that's why I'm going back, to learn and to show act of solidarity.
I can say a few more, but whatever you want to say.
Okay. I'm Ruby Roth, and this is my second caravan. I'm so happy to be going on this caravan. It's my fourth trip to Cuba, my second caravan. I work, I'm a volunteer at the Riverside Church, and so I go often through them and through the work that they do. I go to Cuba because it's the right thing to do. The blockade we have against Cuba is wrong, absolutely wrong, and I think that we have to stand up, just as we have to stand up for Haiti. I see Minaj over there. Just as we have to work for Haiti, we have to work for Cuba. Cuba, I became involved in what Cuba was doing when they went into Africa. My first interest was Africa. And I learned that Cuba sent doctors and other kinds of aid into the Congo, into Namibia. They supported Mandela when Mandela was imprisoned. And so I said, what can I do? I'm limited, but whatever I can do, I try to do the best I can. So I bring the news back to people at Riverside, I bring the news back to my neighbors that we have to stop the blockade, that we have to free the Cuban 5, and that we have to do whatever we can to make a more just world.
So there are a few caravanistas that didn't make it here tonight, but in total there'll be 17 of us leaving out of New York. As I mentioned, there's 71 in total of all of the caravanistas going. We're very excited about this new approach this year, and we're very appreciative of your being here and your support every step of the way. A couple things that I want to state is that with this new approach, we'll be departing from 10 or so different U.S. cities, traveling to Mexico, where we will have a few days of fellowship and interaction with our partners in Mexico, Cuba Solidarity activists there. We'll be learning more about the struggles there. We'll be involved in some ecumenical activities there. It'll be a great opportunity, I think, for the caravan to mesh with our Cuban counterparts, our Mexican counterparts in this work. And when we return, one of the things that's a little different is, you know, the caravan usually travels across the border on the way there and on the way back as one group. This is different. We're going to be coming back into 10, 12 different cities, ideally, you know, in groups, you know, with handfuls of us together. And that's why we refer to this as a blitzing of the blockade, right? We're coming at it from all these different directions to say, that's right, we were in Cuba, we were there, we had partnered with our friends and neighbors there, and we're not ashamed, we're not lying about that. We believe that there ought to be a change in this policy. But with that new approach comes a certain level of risk, right? We're coming back as individuals, or groups of individuals. Your support, your knowledge that on August 1st, when we make that trip back to these different cities, we need you to be on the ready. We need you to be ready to, if there is some kind of a confrontation, or if we're stopped or detained in any way, we need our emergency response network to be at the ready to make phone calls and demand the release of anybody who might be held up. Many of you know that the second caravan, the little yellow school bus story, there was a little yellow school bus destined for a school with special needs in Cuba that was stopped by the U.S. government, detained. The people on the bus held a hunger strike for 23 days. That bus eventually was released, and the reason it was released was because Washington was flooded with phone calls from us and from people like us across the country and indeed in other parts, in other nations. And the hotline, what do you call it? The phone lines were shut down at one point because they were getting so many calls for people demanding that little yellow school bus be let go. So we can do this. We've done it. We've proven that. but we need people to take it seriously and to know that on August 1st, you need to be in touch with Emily Thomas and those that are going to be in the office to know, what's the status? Where are we? Is there anybody that we need to be focusing attention on in order to make sure that everyone gets back safe and sound?
Sending out emails throughout caravans, particularly that day.
All the more, and Emily was just saying, we'll be sending out emails about the caravan, and particularly on that day, all the more reason why it's really important for everyone to make sure that you leave your email address at the front door so that we can put you on that list to say, to declare victory or to declare that our work continues and that there's more that needs to be done. The last thing I want to say is that you all are really a part of history, and I'm honored to be here to be with you. This is the 25th anniversary of the Pastors for Peace project. In 1988, we began doing this work in Nicaragua. Many of you know that story. Passenger boat that was attacked by Contra forces. There was a IFCO delegation on that boat. So we witnessed that act of terrorism, and it was Lucius Walker, my father, who was one of the wounded and determined that we would start these Pastors for Peace caravans as an alternative people's foreign policy. And we've been doing that in Nicaragua and El Salvador and Guatemala and Honduras and Chiapas and in Cuba since 1992. So this is a really, I think it's an important historic moment. We have made some tremendous successes, and I'm convinced that if we really keep pushing at this in different and new and creative ways, that we will eventually see a breaking down of the walls of the blockade. And thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for helping to make it happen. There is a basket in the front. I know that many of you, listen, I'm the daughter of a Baptist preacher, right? If I didn't make a pitch, he would, come after me. The work requires, this work of love and solidarity does not come without a price. So anything extra that you can do on your way out, or any time in between now and when you leave, to place any extra cash in that box to help us to forward this work and continue it long after we return, because there are tremendous expenses associated with this project. Please consider doing that, and then feel free to double that. Anyway. I'm not the greatest at the pitches, but you get the gist. They're doing fine. Good. You get the gist. Okay. And Michael has got a lovely hat that he's willing to pass around to anything big and small. Is appreciated and helpful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being.
You open it up. We got the first open donation.
All right.
Everybody put their name on the hand.
Thank you for being at the ready on August 1st when we return.
When do you leave?
We leave on, the caravan leaves on the 16th of July, which would be Tuesday. So in 3 days we leave. And then we will be in Santiago from the 18th through and we come back back to our home cities on the 1st. Okay. So before I thank you, this is very generous. Feel free to contribute. Before I completely turn over the floor, there's one person I want to recognize who I'm not seeing here. Has anybody seen Mafi? What? I have been sitting in this chair, this co-director chair, for it's approaching 2 years. And I can't believe it. And then there's a whole lot of more gray hairs than there were before I started. And if it were not for this woman I don't know that I would still be standing here. MAPI has been a tremendous asset to the work of IFCO pastors over the years, for many, many years. But her role in these latter years has been extremely important. We've been through some difficult times, and
Shit times.
yeah. And MAPI has been going through some of her own personal challenges. Shit. But a lot of good thought, prayer, and just blood, sweat, and tears have gone into wishing for MAPI's health to improve. She's still got a lot of challenges ahead, but we're grateful that the last word from the doctors was that they used the word remission.
No, they don't use that word. They use NED. No evidence
Really?
of disease.
Whoa.
You have to take that with us. Yeah.
But it's a testament. It's a testament to you. You may be short in stature, you are a strong sister. She pushes me around all the time. But we're grateful that MAPI could be here with us tonight to celebrate, and we just wanted to publicly acknowledge all of the great, tremendous work that MAPI has done over the years to be supportive of this work. And our plan is to take her with us to Cuba next year.
Yes. Yeah, next year we're not going to Santiago. I'm from Oriente. I'm from northern part of Santiago. So this was the perfect opportunity for me to go.
Jump on the bus.
Huh?
Jump on the bus.
And the plane.
No, I don't think so. But I'll be there in the spirit.
Yeah, that's right. That's what counts. Thank you. All right, and so we want to now ask, and of course I talked like longer than I was supposed to, but that's okay. Get me up here and I'll start. Ask our dear friend Corrine Kohut, who is a former staff person, has been a tremendous supporter of IFCO and Pastors for Peace for many, many years, very dear friend, and has been a caravanista has led too many caravans to count. To just say a little word about past experiences as a caravanista. Is there anything you want to share from that perspective?
So I was given the sorry. I was asked to just say a couple minutes of some words about a past caravan experience, and I've had so many that have been so powerful, and so I was trying to think of, what would be appropriate. So I just want to share actually my very first caravan experience, which was actually not an experience when I was on the caravan. I was in the office, and I had just become familiar with IFCO Pastors for Peace. I had never known what this organization was. I started working in the office, and this was 1996, so it's almost 20 years ago now. It goes fast, I'm telling you, fast. And this is back in the day of fax machines too, right? No, nobody uses fax machines anymore. And I remember the first fax came in and it said, day 23 of a fast. And I thought, fasting, right? For what? Let me give you just a piece of the backstory of this, because this is the kind of organization that has the kind of conviction to challenge wrong policies. So day 23 is a fast, and Gail talked about a fast. I want to tell you about a subsequent fast that happened. It was called the Fast for Life. Day 23, fasting. Everybody, there's a whole list of people that you call, from the Treasury Department to your local representatives to everybody in your network. And these systems are very sophisticated and very important that we have contact information for everybody. So something happens to Gail at the border, everybody is making a phone call. Everybody. And that's what won this. Day 23, fast is going on. You need to fax out to everybody that we know that this is happening. Tell them to call X, Y, and Z person. Email to everybody you know. Tell them to call X, Y, and Z person. It kept going. It kept going. The government wasn't moving. They had seized a whole group of computers that were designed to give to Cuba to connect their medical system for better communication among the medical system in Cuba. Fast forward, day 34. And I'm thinking, I don't even know these people who are fasting at this point. I just became introduced to the organization, and I see the facts come in, day 34 of the fast, nothing. Fast forward, day 45, day 55 of the fast. 55 days without food. And I'm thinking, okay, whoever these people are, I want to be a part of them. Because that kind of conviction, that kind of strength and determination, they're not going to stop. They're not going to turn back. They are indeed fasting until they win. They're not going to stop. Fast forward, day 60, nothing. Day 70, nothing. The government will not bend, but the caravanistas are stronger. They're stronger than the most powerful government in the world. They are stronger. They're stronger because if you are convinced that a policy is immoral, if you're convinced that a policy is illegal, you're going to be diehard. And they keep fasting, and they keep fasting, and eventually, day 90, right? They're still fasting. It's getting tense, it's getting tense. Even people in the network are starting to get scared. They're starting to say, stop, eat, please eat, right? You're scaring me. You need to eat. We need to, we'll think of a different plan. We'll do something else. Caravanistas held strong. Day 94, the government folded. They stepped down. It's extraordinary. The computers were released, and I vowed on that day, I'm going to be a part of this organization for the rest of my life. Because there is no organization that I've ever encountered with that type of strength and conviction to challenge an immoral policy. Every caravan has been different. Sometimes they'll seize a computer, sometimes they'll say, well, you and you can go, but you and you can't go. And how do they do that? They try to play the caravan off of one another. They try to say, well, we're going to give you a license to travel, but only you, and you can't go. And these types of experiences have shaped why IFCO acts the way they act, why they do what they do. They say we're not going to apply for a license from the U.S. government, nor are we going to accept a license from the U.S. government to travel to Cuba. And we're not going to do that because to do so is a de facto recognition of the policy that's designed to starve the Cuban people into the submission of the will of the U.S. And we're not doing it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to buy into it. And this year is going to be one of the most exciting caravans because it's a leaner, meaner, greener caravan. And I like the blitz effect. It's something the U.S. government has not experienced from IFCO Pastors for Peace. And everybody in this garden, everybody in all of the events going on across the country, because it's not just us, it's not just New York, right? It's all across the country. Everyone needs to be on their tippy toes in anticipation of what's going to happen because we don't know. This is uncharted water. We knew that the ante had to be upped, and so here it is. It's the Blitz caravan. It's the caravan where it's going to be coming from all sides. One of the things Michael was talking about, there's a project that we're battling in the South Bronx, and our practice is death by 1,000 cuts. We just do this. We're just going to destroy this project that's trying to dump on the South Bronx, and we're going to do it in all these different ways. And I think about that with the caravan and this blitz approach. We're going to go at it from every city from which these caravanistas are traveling. And they're going to come back into all of these cities, and they're going to take these, poor folks who have to enforce this kind of an awful, internationally illegal policy. These poor border people in the different airports, they're going to blitz them. They're going to blitz them hard. And everybody is going to be tight, and everybody is going to be determined, like those who fasted for 94 days. They're going to be determined, they're going to be disciplined, they're going to be organized, and we all need to support them. Everybody who talked about who's going on the caravan, we all need to support them. We need to be there for them, no matter what the encounter is at the airport, in all of the airports, in New York, across the rest of the country. We need to be united as a network because that's how this caravan has been successful. That's how we have chipped away death by 1,000 cuts this blockade, and we'll win. The blockade will end. And it's organizations that like this that are leading the way, for sure.
And don't forget, love, it's love that's our license, right? We don't have to accept the U.S. It's love that's our license, and we're using civil disobedience as so many people before us have to express our opposition to hate.
Want me on my jail shit. Right.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Wait.
Cuba, Cuba, Gail Walker.